better. Wassail, wassail, wassail. So, I've been overcharged, supercharged, energized beyond the ability to go to sleep by spending too many days on the equator. Let's put it down a bit. So, especially during the Taurus reading, up on Rumi Kutu, I was just picking up on all of the kind of ceremonies that took place up there, ancestral stories, you know, using plant medicines, equinoxes, solstices, and then all this energy of ancestor stories. And it's been overwhelming. Wassail, Laurie Jankovic, wassail, Holly. I've got new glasses. I can almost read. Wassail, Sandra, wassail, Blue Jean Natalie. See, I couldn't read anything before. That's handy. It's raining here. I was meant to be going out to the equator to do Leo and Scorpio, and I will do them, but I have to go to the equator to do them, and I really cannot go to the equator for another couple of days. I need to just let all of that equator energy go. So what I have today for us, I have Liffruma, obviously. I also have the two decks I bought in Peru, and they're kind of, I guess, the Andean decks. So I just recorded a video that's going to go on to Liffruma, and you'll get access to that with the email that will come out sometime in the next few days. I'm being taught by this energy to stop making promises. Wassail, Eve, wassail. Hello, Eve. Oh, wassail, Laurie. I didn't see that one appear. I said, did I said one? I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. I had to go out this morning without having any coffee, go to a supermarket, get food, and then get back, and then go, because I really didn't want to go out anywhere. I'm so confused. I felt like I could get run over crossing the road. It's all this Andean energy. So we've got a few decks here. Yeah, so if you subscribe to Repurposing.com, you will get a new email, and you will get this video that will be coming out with the email at some point soon. So it's only going to be on Repurposing.com. It won't be on here. So I'm just Liffruma-rooning. I'm waiting for the start of a story. There's a lot of stories out there. And that's why I couldn't get to sleep last night. Wassail Rebel Star. I still haven't used your proper name. But I like Rebel Star. So, there's a rune on the floor. It's on the stone floor. What an opening energy. So, 23, Edel, legacy, original birthright. You see, what I'm picking up here from this is an inability to witness our original birthrights. So what do I mean by that? I mean, when we do tarot, we talk about all different kind of Ophilagu energies, or I do. And you all listen. So Wassail Kathy. So yes, this frequency of the birthright, it's linked in to polytheism. So the many aspects of God. The indigenous energies were that most tribes in earlier times had many gods. They had this animism, and animism is very, very important, and it's part of our original birthright. Now, the message that I keep picking up, since going up so high and the wind blowing everything out of me, is that it's all very well to have a belief, as many old indigenous cultures did, in the notion of there being a supreme force, you know, a Liffrumic energy, a source frequency. But while it's good to acknowledge that oneness, it often means that we're no longer acknowledging and making contact with the fact that there are many other energetic spirits. And even if you don't want to believe in this cushion, having an energetic spirit in some way, but plants and nature and all the different animals that are out there, they all have spirit, they all have their own form. And when we have monotheism, when we think only of one over God, then we're no longer allowing us to just kind of throw some kind of clarity of vision, some kind of loving intention, some kind of compassion, some kind of awe at the things in the real world. We're missing them. We're neglecting the energy. You know, whatever the supreme source of energy is for you, it still made everything. You know, it's still part of anything. Even if this cushion is made by a human, Source made the human, Source made the materials that created everything. And we don't often give, I don't want to say gratitude, but acknowledgement, intention, loving energy. And that's our birthright, to see some kind of blissful, joyous freedom in everything. So we're now going to go to Shaman, Tarot of the Shaman that we got in Arequipa, and see what story comes. Well, there's one straight on the table. It's being very singular. It's not been being very singular with me. Oh, look at this. It's interesting. It's the other me, or the other you, as I like to think of it. It's this energy of moving into facing something that's more true than you as you are now. And sometimes we can't access that mirror because the frequencies within that mirrored reflection that is part of this kind of birthright energy, it requires us to accept what do I want to say here? To accept kind of not, it's not trauma, but it's to accept polarity, to accept a darkness. So you're not going to look at this mirrored image of yourself and say, I see a beautiful, compassionate, loving, kind soul. Because that energy doesn't exist without the shadow. So 0 degrees. Part of the energy that I've just learnt about, which I observed and then I've looked into, is an energy here on the equator. It takes place actually between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, which is 0 shadow. day, and it happens twice a year, but depending on where you are around the globe, it happens in between those two lines. It happens at different times a year. So here in Ecuador, where we are, particularly, it happens on the 21st of March, which I was fortunate enough to be at the middle of the world and witness, and that's where I saw this kind of zero shadow. These trees had there was no shadow beneath them. Well, the trees had a circle, but it was exactly central. But if you took a stick, nothing. If you took the square monument, no shadow. Nothing bleeding either side, because the sun at solar noon is directly overhead. And yet if you look at your time is wrong. So we need to remember that time is a concept that was designed to deal with trains. Until that point, when people around the world used sundials, time was much more fluid. Wassail. Oh yeah, it is. It's in May. And that's how I stumbled upon it. I witnessed it and I was like, there's no shadow. And then it was zero shadow day in Hawaii, Ariel. And it's May, and there must be another one. If it's May, I would think the other one must be kind of like, November. Maybe Wassail Silky the Fairy. So on No Shadow Day, rather wonderfully, for me, what happened was you witnessed no shadow. Oh, this is 232. They're like, well, you just not noticed that as well. It's 232. So on Zero Shadow Day, I had no shadow. Now, if you have no shadow, what happens is you create your own shadow. So actually from within, all of my oldest, darkest shadows spilled out all over the floor and made a right mess. May and July. Wow, I mean, it's not strangely, it's just doing what it does. May and July. Wow, they're very close. Maybe they get more distant the closer you are to the equator, and the closer you are to a tropic, maybe they have less distance between them. There's a lovely picture of a bicycle, and it's just got one little tiny thin line underneath it, which is the frame of the bike. But so it's a very profoundly powerful energy. No Shadow Day, because we always talk in terms of there being shadow and light. And on No Shadow Day, you've almost got to bring yourself into face, find this mirror, and you can do it at any time. But it helps us to focus on this. It's showing you that you have to accept that you can see yourself as two different polarities, a light and a dark entity. So let's get this other deck out and see if we get anything else story-wise around this. It feels like zero shadow energy. I've been picking up pregnancies, fertility for the last few days. Really powerfully, really strong. The energy of giving life, how life is created. And actually how you create your own legacy is key somehow to this. See now, look. Come on, people, keep up with me. Point these things out to me even when I'm not looking. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3, 2, 3. Which is obviously 5, 5. May. So we have the Empress, pregnancy. This is, I don't want the same message as the little secret message I've just recorded for Liffruma. I want a different message, please. Can I have a different message, please? Will you show me a different message? Will you though? So I just want to remind you, while I'm waiting on this, obviously Pluto was on the 23rd of the 3rd, 2023, it moved into Aquarius. And Ceres she's hiding behind the Earth doing all this recoding stuff. And there's also a 7-planet, well, planet and asteroid lineup stellium in Aquarius at the moment. So what have we got there? See if I can remember. We've got the Sun, the Moon, have we? Mercury, Jupiter, Chiron, Vesta, and Eris. Hooray! Hooray, hooray, hooray. So there's a lot of really big energies. And also Pluto's obviously just stepping into the Aquarius stellium tear that I talk about, which is a frequency that's now been set, torn open by Saturn and everyone else 2 years ago. And this is the first time Pluto's catching up. Not getting anything, people. What's going with this Empress? You see birthright, they're saying, as opposed to birthing. They're being very loud about that now. Birthright as opposed to birthing. Yeah, there is. And it's Libra. Full moon in Libra, isn't it? So, Soto de Copas, Ocho de Oros. This is about a transformation. I'm being shown like, it's almost like this costume becomes this. It's like, ta-da! This new frequency, this new birthright energy, but you've got to master something. There's an energy here of being hidden, hiding something from yourself, okay? Hiding something from yourself. Also, obviously, while we're thinking about Aries, in July, the nodes will move. Also, although they don't move and they're still in Taurus and Scorpio for this first solar eclipse tunnel, the solar eclipse takes place on the 20th of April, but instead of being in Taurus, it just sneaks in to Aries ahead of time. So there's a lot of new energies coming about. But there's something here about how you've got to face something you're hiding from. And it's not, they're really saying it's not traumatic. We've got to stop thinking that everything's deeply traumatizing. This is different energy now. This is energy where actually acknowledging allows us to somehow release. And it is about releasing things. Releasing all the weight of all this costume, that, you know, the version of your character that you're holding at the moment, this static moment, hiding something from yourself, and then taking this and actually looking at the thing that casts, that stops the shadows. Stops the shadows. We're there now. Take what stops the shadows and imagine that it is the most beautiful perfumed flower, and then it will transform into all of these new world opportunities for you. These cards are, I'm in my bland colours. I'm just being very sepia here, people. So that's the first part, and I'm just going to keep putting these back and just looking at different threads that might want to come through. Yeah, there is. Jupiter's just gone past. I think Chiron's at 15, primal wounds, and I think Jupiter's at 17, so they're separating. They've just gone through a conjunction. Conjunction. So, let's get another thread. And see what we get. Threads of the Andes. But they're going to be telling very old stories because of what happens on the equator doesn't stay on the equator. It's not like Fight Club. What happens on the equator bleeds out everywhere else and informs everything else. Just as everything else informs the equator. Everything's reaching out. Grid lines, larger squares. So on the equator, the distance between the longitude lines is the widest that it can ever be. It's 111 kilometers or 69 miles. Whereas if you go right to the poles, it's 0. Oh, there's one on the floor. Oh, there's a load on the floor. Yeah, it's very, very fast moving here. So let's see where we're starting. Kanafa, traditions, old energies. This is interesting. This is looking at the old energies. This card is usually saying, Wassail Olga. This is saying you got to look at those traditions. They're almost linking into the old umbrella of the Empress. You got to look at the traditions if you're going to notice that they've got nutrients in them. Your shadows have the nutrients. So on no shadow day, you need to let your swelginess spill out. You need to let it just so that you can actually begin to work out what is the nutrition, what's the gold hidden within your shadows that you're not looking at. So then we have vein. This is resonating with the energies of others, Kanafa and vein. You've got to look at them, but it feels like what you need to look at in your shadows is see that your shadows are the diktats of others. So you're being influenced, we all are, influenced by the energies of others. And we need to look at that influence of others and put the key into our own lock, look at the shadows and find our own truer nutrients inside them and move. Move on, move away, step away from the shadows again. Because you've been in there, you've taken out what you need, you get healed by it. So let's go to Shaman energy. Oh, thanks, Silky. Oh, they went a bit. Buster Keaton. Well, that's a word that's not come out, a name that's not come out for a very long time. So we have here, oh, that's interesting. Let's move. There's something really wild about this chariot energy. It's like, it's get off the chariot. Get off the chariot. The liveries of others is in the poem in this card. I get it. Listen to this, people. Actually, I wonder if I can read them in my glass. No, we'll do that. You're dressed and obsessed and oppressed by the liveries of any thoughts but your own. Now, liveries are uniforms, the serving class, when we had nobility, would be dressed in so that you knew who owned you. So this card of movement says, can you not feed yourself? Must someone else always lead you to the water? What do you desire from others and what do they desire from you? Lead yourself. And look, this is flying without the horses, moving forwards without that need to be led by another, but being led by your own true energy. And then it ends with understanding, comprehension. This is to go back to the very bones of something about humanity. Going back to the very bones. Going back to a time of no movement, a stillness. And it's so interesting because this is two movement cards. Air, horse, and chariot. And yet it's saying it's time to just buzz into the energy of stillness. Why? What's going on in the stillness? I have been picking up a lot of energy actually now that I think of it. That was to do with that need for speed that we have. And how the very fact that we have created a world in which we have to travel enormous spaces and distances daily to work and to drop off kids and all of these kind of things. Wassail, Kelly Rose. So we got a big droppage on when I say drop off kids. It's beginning with the Ace of Spades, Swords, because I saw Espadas, As de Espadas, Cuatro de Copas. I just need to put them down and then I'm going to tell you what's going on. El Diablo. Dos de Espadas. Two of Swords. And then we got Seis de Bastos. Six of Wands. And the Six of Cups. Seis de Copas. Give me a moment to look at them. Might shift them down into a block and see what that's telling me. See, now that becomes far more interesting. You're being given, you see, now that is interesting. You're being given an opportunity to understand and evaluate something differently. You're being offered in air, in Aquarius, in this particular energy, a kind of new, I don't want to say truth, because we all think of truth as being something absolute. This really is about being given some new material, some new facts, some new notions that you can then split into what it was saying and what you believe you can do with this new mental energy. Okay? And then we have this. They're showing me these as funerary ceramics. They're not the right shape, I know that. But there's something about being tied to ancestral stories. And again, this is about looking at those maybe 3 ancestral lives, not necessarily your own, ancestral lives. And again, this is coming in just like this. It's a new life offering. It's a new story being presented that brings you into that celebrated. But this is, they're showing me this because it's got the Six of Cups next to it. They're showing me this as a celebration of you, or a congratulations of your ancestors congratulating you for releasing old ties. And that's really what this card is coming across as. That difficult energy that it felt absolutely and wildly attached and impassioned within you But it's time to now kind of drop this because it's tied to something that isn't your story. You're now beginning to see things that have been energetically offered to you, and you're able to divide them up and bring them into a balance to make your existence. Holding one for your ancestors in the past, but holding a new one for you and the future that you're creating. And then there's a celebration that takes place around you. And there's a lot of cheering and applauding you by your ancestors, the freedom you're giving your ancestors. So I'm going to ask, how? Because sometimes I can't bear it when I don't know the full answer. How? How are we helping our ancestors? How are we helping our ancestors? How are we helping those ancestors here? How are we helping those ancestors here? How? Ooh, so there was one that's kind of a flat and a lively. The flat is the purging. How? By letting go. I mean, and that's that energy, by letting go. These don't belong to you. Yeah, they've influenced you. You've drunk. Seriously, you've got yourself absolutely lashed up on each of those ancestral stories. And now it's time for you to have your own. But you got to let go. Really got to let go of their tales. And then the exciting card. See, that's why it was exciting. It's the perv. It's once you're purged, once you're perved, your cosmic surge. It's you need to allow the energy to spark your tree, to spark your life, to move into your own frequency. Oh, I know what it's talking about. My pear is so ripe, you walk to reach for it, but you cannot find me. You sense me and my scent. Listen, I have here, been waiting for that card to come out. I have these, so that 3 pairs have you been eating the wrong pears? Have you been feasting on these golden ancestral apples, pears? And they're not the ones you're meant to be feasting on. There's another one that's yours alone. I would say apples of discourse Eris. Maybe keep an eye on movements around Eris, things going into conjunction with Eris coming up. Ah, you have green pears. I like William pears, I think. I don't know. Again, a muddle. I also like Perry pears because I like the fact that they've got all that kind of fermenting yeasts on their skin. So yes, are you feasting from the wrong ancestral fruits? Yeah, pomegranates are definitely on the Rider-Waite Empress. She had them on her dress, or there's some pomegranates somewhere on her. I haven't seen a Rider-Waite deck for quite a while. I forget what a lot of decks look like because I spent so long with everyone doing the runes and the Alchemy of Astrology deck. But I haven't seen other decks set up, and I haven't had this deck out since I left Peru. Or this one, they were at the bottom of my suitcase. But they were just last night, they were like, get us out. And I couldn't even find them, I couldn't remember where they were. Because I've just been having fun with the Liffruma. So, yeah, there is definitely a Persephone energy going on because Pluto, 0 degrees Aries, Ceres, she's hiding behind the Earth. She's the mother who stops all of the production or the growth of anything agriculturally, she brings pestilence to the world. Nothing can grow. And so Zeus has to go down to Hades and say, will you just please give Persephone back? Did Persephone want to come? Because my understanding is she quite likes being queen of the underworld. And who wouldn't? Look, Hades owns everything under the earth, everything physical, everything underground. Not in the sea, not in the air, but everything underground. Plutocrat is a very wealthy person because Pluto is so wealthy. It owns all the minerals, all the things we use in the technology in Aquarius belong to Pluto. And here he comes. As I said that, all the things, everything. Pluto owns everything. It's like all the magic is possible when Pluto hits Aquarius in terms of movement in, I don't want to just say technology, but I just want to say in terms of physical things around us. The things around us will transform. So what else? What else? Mr. Plutocrat. So he's behind, look, he's behind this. The gift of your birthright. Fascinating. The gift of your birthright. Pluto's behind it. But I've been saying for a couple of years since I was in Lisbon, Pluto's got a big heart. But we don't let Pluto's big heart come out because we just, I'm not going to say we misrepresent because it's like saying that Pluto can't change. Everything changes. Nothing is the same. Yeah, I think we should all really enjoy what Pluto is about to offer us. And it's, remember Pluto, when Pluto was last in Aquarius, it was 248 years ago, it was in a fire epoch. So it's a different energy. You can't go looking into what happened in history and go, right, that's going to happen again. So like, for instance, people go, oh, it was the American Revolution. It was the French Revolution. This energy of revolution. Yeah, it will be a similar energy, but it's now in air. So it's a different epoch. And we've been through Earth, all the way through Pluto energy, where Pluto is quite powerful. Now Pluto's kind of like, can breathe again. And so we're in air. There was something else I wanted to say then about Pluto in air. It'll come back. It'll come back. Wassail step. So yeah, Pluto is now a loving energy as far as I'm concerned. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So, it will bring similar patterns. Revolution, no, resolution. This is different now, because now we need a resolution, because if it's in Aquarius now, it's going to move into water in the next 200 years. So, there's something about us needing clarity of emotions in a way that we couldn't have in Earth period, because Earth puts silt into all the emotions and muddies the emotions. This is about getting a clarity of emotions, feeling, oh yeah, look, castigated, this ends, feeling bullied, feeling pushed down, it ends, because it's not part of Pluto in Aquarius. So let's get some more shamanic energies. Yay! El Shaman, ancestral. Pulling up new frequencies, totally birthing new energies. All of this, there's something in this that represents Pluto's punishment when in Capricorn. And this is Pluto's materializing new old energies, they're saying. New energies that the ancestors understood that we've forgotten. Forgotten energies returning. Forgotten philosophies returning. And then we've got another 2 cards down here. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. This one is, I leave this one in because it's a cosmic gift. But it also came in with the title card, and I didn't even know the title card was in there. But that was not put in near that. It was put in the middle of the deck. So I remember pulling them out the first time. That one wasn't there. So something lost, returning. But what is the purpose of it returning? Is to just bring something that you don't yet comprehend. Something new is coming in that will become a defining factor of life. So let's go to there and see what else we get. See what else we get. So if you are here and you are Leo or Scorpio, I will be doing your readings, but I can't go and step into equator energy again. It's too intense. I need a few days away from the equator. I'm going to go down into historic Quito, I think, tomorrow and see what we can do down there. I also need to be aware that sometimes I'm picking places outdoors with too many other people's energies in them, and that's bleeding in as well. I need outdoors that's a little bit more serene so that I can settle in. Come on, what's the next part? So, it's echoing this energy. Feeling like you've been left out. You know, there's something about Pluto in Capricorn that's always somehow about singular control over others, power over others. It's interesting because when Pluto goes into Aquarius, obviously its opposite is Leo. I haven't done Leo, that's interesting, because it's about challenging authority. So this is, if you have pushed enough people out of an existence in the world that they can cherish, they will have to transform, and they will transform. It's interesting, I'm getting this energy as a constant, the 1st of June energy keeps turning up, 1-6, keeps coming over. 16 is the tower. I don't know what that means, but there's something about the tower at the moment that's got like a double energy to it. It's not just about tearing down walls. It is, but it's also like this equator thing. It's like being charged up, being given a boost. And that's what I'm getting here, is you're almost being able to conjure up options. Yeah, it is a bit like a tower reversed, but the thing is that the walls still have to come down. The walls will fall, but somehow with each brick unmortaring, as you take each brick out, you're going to reuse them, but you're going to put them somewhere else. They're going to have a different purpose. So maybe a brick that was a wall becomes a brick that is a seat. So it's something more supportive. Or it becomes brick around a fireplace, something to keep you warm. It's something about changing the physical attributes, because look, it's Pluto. Pluto owns the physical. And that's what's transforming. So I'm just going to go back to Liffruma to end that one. So this transformation, this unmortaring, this using things for a different purpose. Yeah, a repurposed brick. it's still a foundational stone. It's still something of the earth that can be used in our life, but we have to change its purpose. You know, it could be that you take down some barrier that's blocked you and use it to build steps to walk over some other part of the barrier to a new freedom. So there's one that's been on the floor since the beginning. So I am being told to consider, for us all at the moment, there's a very big period because Pluto's going to jump back out and back in again. And so around solstice, June solstice, 21st, something, we've got 3 big energies coming. So Kanafa's back with Journey and Hagal, Rad, Kanafa, Rad and Hagal. It's interesting that there's a sextile that's been going on and is still going on, that's been going on for decades, that many of you will have, which is Pluto sextile Neptune. And they more or less, because of the slowness at which they pass, they've almost been marking that sextile continually as they've travelled. So you might want to look at that and you might want to see whether in a quincunx energy you have anything on your birth chart on the apex between Pluto and Neptune. Ooh, I'm quite liking this. Pluto and Neptune. They're doing a kind of, they're sextiling, but quincunxing up here, you might have another planet, and that's a yod. If you've got an isosceles triangle, you have a yod. And that can make life quite tricky and complicated, but when it's active, it can bring some amazing transformations. So you've got this Kanafa Rad Hagal. Kanafa Rad Hagal. I'm just looking because Kanafa 71, 71, 71. So there's these power numbers. Transformation of numbers is another key I'm getting. You can't hang on to your old numbers. You're going to start seeing new numbers. You've got to accept that. Otherwise, you're not stepping forwards into this new Pluto energy. 71, 71, don't hang on to the past. Move on to the gift of something new materializing. Do not cling to the old blood song. 71, 71. Then we got 5 and 9. 5 and 9. 5 is here. So we got that 5, 5. Ah, and there's the 9. Oh no, that's 11. I thought I saw the 9. Might be coming. But you gotta get through this. You've got to weather this energy almost from now until this solstice frequency. Where's the solstice card gone? All the way over there. So this rare moment that's coming, you somehow got to work your way, journey through this energy. I had one face down. I was like, I'm not going to turn that one over until the very end. And what is this journey taking you towards? You. It's taking you home. It's taking you back to yourself. And somehow that 1-3 is your birthright. Your 2-3. Like an upgrade, like an energetic transformation is what's coming in at the end of that. So that's gorgeous. Yeah, from equinox to solstice, it's clearly talking about some kind of energy, and it's got a kind of gathering frequency of people and place. So let's pop those ones back and let's just drive on with another. I might have a sip of water. I also bought the filthiest Moira tart, which is a mulberry tart. Mmm. Here we go around the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Yeah, I must hydrate. We don't see Hannah Spanner much anymore. She was always the water bearer, our Ganymede. Now it's Holly, she always reminds me. Thank you, Holly. That was a bit like No Shadow Day. So it has form, but at a certain point it suddenly becomes something else and it no longer looks, you can't recognize it for what it is because you've just changed the way you look at something. So that's a bit like the brick. It was a brick, but now you've found another purpose. You've repurposed this. So let's go to Liffruma. Yeah, I know, I'm so sorry, Olga, but what I will do is I will send you a really filthy picture of me eating it. Mora, mulberry. Can anybody remember who the story of the mulberry bush is? Where there are two lovers. Is it Thisbe and... Thisbe, and they both die, and they're not really dead, but they think they are. And so then the white mulberry is turned red to represent the blood that they shed in love for each other. Thisbe and Perimus and the mulberry. I should have put. It didn't go there. It's got stuck. Oh, yes, and they hear whispers through the wall. The crack in the wall. Let me just Wikipedia this. I feel like we need to know. It's in Ovid's Metamorphosis. It's been told by many authors. The story, the mulberry tree. They arrange to meet near a tomb under a mulberry tree and state their feelings for each other. Thisbe arrives first, but on seeing a lioness with a bloody mouth from a recent kill, she flees, leaving her cloak. When Perimus arrives, he is horrified at the sight of Thisbe's cloak. The lioness had torn it and left traces of blood behind. So he kills himself falling on his sword, a typical Babylonian way to commit suicide, and in turn splashing blood on the white mulberry leaves. And his blood stains the fruits, turning them dark. There you go. So let's have another story from the Andes. Come on, Andes. What do you want to tell us? Andes. Yes, you can find your birth time, Steph, yourself. So do put yourself, type in a time like midday and then see how you feel. And then move it forwards 15 minutes and see how you feel about other signs. And then try another hour, maybe in the evening or in the morning. And see what becomes your rising sign and where your moon is. See if the moon moves enough to have any influence on you. But you can track down what you think matches your truth. And then make that your truth. I mean, the other thing to say, in the reading that you're going to get, there's some stuff in there about moving your chart energy in the email that will be coming. So leaf, you can use it was there and then it went, Kathy. Astro.com, but you can also use astro _charts. That one has quite a good section where It tells you different aspects, like which overall energy rules you. You can just have a little look into that and learn some other bits about yourself. So we have leaf unfurling. Unfurling, this is Ceres. Unfurling new blueprints. She's recoding. Ceres is recoding. Ceres is recoding us. Actually, Ceres is recoding everything. So look, unfurl and move, shift. This is actually like literally shift you out of where you are now. Doesn't mean move building or house. Shift, unfurl, change, transform your blueprint, your tune, the seat of your soul is mucky. Could do with a little bit of a shine up. So let's go with the shame on you. Shaman Tarot. Shame on you. So what do we have? The Spirit of Papa Crocodile. Right, this card, when I see this card, it talks about a very ancient energy. Oh God, he's such a beautiful energy. It's almost like, this is like a great big pussycat energy. It's sort of, what I mean by that is it means there's something that appears so fierce about Papa Crocodile, but Papa Crocodile is being like Pluto. It's just got the softest heart inside, but it's had to have this exterior for a long time because it's the exterior that becomes a protection, that fierceness that holds power, but underneath there's such gentle, kind love. And then we have the 10 of, well, I think it's a 10 of kind of emotions as such. It's the 10 of crystals, and the spirit of he's also to do with the crystals. But this is to be really emotionally balanced. So it's like, that's the exterior. And that's the soft center within Pluto. So there's something of an energy of being in balance with your masculine and feminine energies. Masculine and feminine emotions, masculine and feminine heart. So this is the energy of nurture. This is the spirit of loving, compassionate pain absorption on behalf of another, non-judgmental, nurturing. And they're coming with the dance of the sun. So here, it's an eagle at the top, but I'm being shown the Ecuadorian condor. So this is about floating. There's something effortless about your life when you can unfurl and move into the frequency of, not a hermaphrodite frequency as such, but a balance between your hearts, between the energy of non-judgmentalism and supportiveness. So you're unfurling into that energy, and then something about life becomes incredibly easy. A condor is enormous, it's vast, and it almost looks as though it shouldn't be able to fly. And so it flies on hot thermals, and it barely flaps its wings. It just seems to glide, and that's what I'm getting here. When you can bring this energy together, when you can make it so that you feel that you have a strong, compassionate, non-judgmental exterior that is just waiting to give loving support from your interior, you will begin to feel that life is the flight of a condor on a thermal. It will just become beautiful. So let's get one of these. So, beautiful people, beautiful people. Got some cards there, beautiful people. Right, what have we got? Nueve de oros, sovereignty. Oh look, she's got a little bird. Be more bird. I kind of want to say there is a very strange story, but when I reviewed it with Olga, because Olga's very good at Andean history, it's the condor and the Calabri, the hummingbird, and we're not sure what we really make of it, whether it's been distorted by others who shouldn't. The Eight of Swords. That's about being hemmed in. What hems in your freedom? What hems in your freedom? And this will be deeply personal. It's like this. What hems in this? What gets in the way of becoming this? And this is something that is a created energy within you where you're considering, it's like self-punishment. You know, everything's just so beautiful out there, and then you go, yeah, but there must be something wrong, because there's always something wrong that arises. And really, you're needing to just, this is this. Having a stronger exterior. Being a little bit tougher, and whatever comes towards you from anyone, even if it feels painful, it's just absorbed, and it's not, there's no judgment on it. It's almost like you become a sponge of love, and every kind of emotion you can just take into your sponge, and then later you can give yourself a squeeze out and let go of it. But you're not making any judgment or criticism on it. Now, this is interesting because I think these came out in the secret reading together, and I put them back in different places. The star, la Coyeur, or Coyeur. I'm trying to put a little jeu on it like they do in Lima, where Olga's from, so that she can tell me I said it properly. Even if I'm not. Lie, Olga. And then the Queen of Coins. The Queen of Gold. There is this energy of gold, the sun. You become the sun. Yeah, I can't, but in fact, I know but in Spanish, because it's one of those words that people say. It's like, it's used so often. They'll be talking and then they'll do this moment where they go, pero, and it's like, it pauses and goes, but, and then I don't know what they carry on saying, but I hear pero. So there's a healing needed. This is like a trust. This is interesting. Oh yes, that's absolutely true. It's a Quechua word. La Queer. They didn't have written language, which is interesting actually, Olga, because with the runes, we capture their names in Latin alphabet, just like this language is being captured in Latin. That's interesting. How many languages around the world have been captured in Latin? I'm not saying it's the dominant one, but it's just an interesting point to observe. So this is saying feeling healed, being healed, and then you go, yeah, but pero still got this little bit of anxiety that I like to wrap myself up with and have panic about. And then heal, because you were healed. You don't need this golden star energy to return to this energy. Acknowledge your own sovereignty. Acknowledge you were healed. But then you went, oh, I'm going to do a little bit of cosmic doubt. I'm just going to do a little bit of condor. Oh, you're 14 minutes behind it, me. That's all right. We're on dessert, and you're only on the starter. So, what do we want to do? What do we want to do, Liffruma, with this little story here? This cosmic doubt, this condor energy. Why is this condor energy? Condor. See if you can guess. See if you can hazard a guess. What would be the point? What would sovereignty, Reina de Copas, star healing, what would that bring you? If you truly had no doubt, what would that improve? Your life force, sigil. It would transform. It was already there. You were already in that energy. The dance of the sun. Ah, that's interesting. We talked earlier about you got to dance to the opposite of your sun. The sun is opposite you. When Pluto is in Aquarius, the sun is opposite. And it's time to dance a dance for the sun in Aquarius, not in Leo. Sorry, Leo. So let's move on and see if we can get one more little blast out before I drop out and go and make myself some more tart. Tarta del Mora. So let's put those Liffruma cards back in the deck. Look, hiding Egel Shamir. Just needed to show you that one had flipped over. So, one last story. Yeah, but the thing about it being in detriment is it's down to you to move your life force and bring your life force as the sun. Connect it up and make it shine. Gare, harvest, the year, the future, putting things into the future to benefit in the present. Maybe we're just going to get one card from each. No, we're going to get two from this one. So, there is that great big force of the sun and you're in detriment, but it doesn't matter because you've already put away, you've stored energy to deal with this. And then you've got aliado. What's aliado? Is it ally or something? Friend. Or warrior or something. Where's my phone? 555 here right now. Whoops. Let's get the right app. Let's see if I can say it. Aliado. I didn't hear me. Aliado.
Created.
No, not criado. Aliado. Ally. So look, you've got this ally, the lion, opposite, working with you, no matter how scary. And then you've got the ally of clouds. The great big condor frequency that we talked about. So maybe you need to be putting your condor frequency, that knowledge that life can be absolutely healed and thermal riding, put that energy into your future storehouse, put that into lives you will lead, and somehow that energy will come towards you in the now. So there's a lot of friendship coming. You typed fart, a Moira fart or a Moira tart. Look, it's doing it again. It's time to step out of this old frequency. This is almost swelgeness. This is saying, I don't belong. And that's an energy. We've just had that in 2 different readings. A kind of self-doubt. Don't self-doubt. In the future, you've created all these wonderful allies. Fire. The last time Pluto was in fire, it was an ally to you. In some way, and now it's in air. Pluto's in Aquarius. Is an ally to you. Again, it's about bringing you into a harvest of wonderful opportunities. Cinco de oros, cinco de oros. Nothing coming from these little ambient. Then they spat. They spat a big story. Ooh, look at this. Rueda de la fortuna. Oh, fortuna. Oh, fortuna. Pa, 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 pa. So now we've got Cinco de Copas. I just have to lie them down because I have to be able to see them read. Tres de espadas. Followed by, where is he? Actually, that would be a very nice Rey de Bastos. I'm always looking for my Rey de Bastos. May he be here now? So what am I getting here? Look. It's time to change your own fortune. It's time to change your own fortune. Okay? This really is working together. If you want to keep walking in this outsider energy and not realize, and this again, shedding tears over broken relationships, broken energies, broken stories, there's more. Turn around to the more. Because the broken ones, the 3 broken ones are these the 3 hurts, the 3 emotional hurts that you have. It's time to change your fortunes and allow a different kind of energy to come in. A new kind of loving, supportive, emotional energy. Because if you become that Father Crocodile energy with the 10 of Earth, that deeply female energy with the two hearts combining. If you become that, then the wheel turns and you can only be presented with another who is equally as passionate about the things you are passionate about. So, where is he? I want my Andean King of Wands. So beautiful people, beautiful, beautiful people. Someone bung a like so that we get 33. I like the number 33. I'll jump to 36 now because more of you. I'm just watching in case someone can get it to 33. 33 likes. There! Whoever that was, thank you so much. 31360. I said it would go to 36. So, yeah, I know. I thought it was stopping. But I've just given you one more Liffruma card with a poem to go away with. Let's see what we get. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Hemphoreld. Bifrost. The journey home. This is very serious right now. So I'm going to read you. And this is 77. It's another power number. 39, 40, 70. If we get 7 more numbers up there, whether it's people coming in or tapping on like, you might be able to get it to 77. Not as the digits. So here's the poem. Living light paths, theories of strings and strands, fragile, frayed threads, warp and weft, all left empty through knowing love is all. Peaceful vibrations bridging worlds and all journeys leading to the same destination. All our leaves lifted by the solar wind and sailing home, charted by stars to birth once more with the sacred Yggdrasil tree. Welcome home. I feel this is a very profoundly strong Pluto energy. To be welcomed home, even welcoming Pluto home. So, beautiful people. Hemphoreld. It's the last card in the room deck. The journey back to yourself. And then to somewhere new. Because you made it home. And that means emotionally, physically, your biome, everything has come back to itself and made you whole. So that's a beautiful message. The rain has stopped. It's just about to get dark, I think. Oh no, it's only, what is the time? Just after 6. Yeah, half an hour to darkness. So beautiful people. I'll probably see you tomorrow. I'm not going out, I don't think. We'll see. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Wah, 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 say.